ഒരു നൂറ്റാണ്ടിന്റെ കരുത്തിൽ ഇന്ത്യൻ കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ടി വാർഷിക ആചരണത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി സീതാറാം യെച്ചൂരി സംസാരിക്കുന്നു. ദൃശ്യങ്ങൾ.
Some of them managed, some of them went there, but a group of them decided after the Communist International was formed in 1919 to establish the Communist Party of India, and that is how the party was founded in Tashkent in 1920. Now, since the party was founded in 1920, immediately it started intervening in giving shape and direction to the national movement in India and India's people's struggle for freedom. And that's why after 1920, in 1921, at the All India Indian National Congress session in Ahmedabad, the Communist Party of India presented a manifesto on what should be the content and the agenda of the national movement in our struggle for freedom. And the Communist Party of India was the first political party in the country to articulate complete independence. In 1921, a resolution was moved in the AICC session at Ahmedabad, saying that our objective should be complete independence from the British rule. This was not accepted by Gandhiji then. It was only in 1929, at the Lahore session of the AICC, that the slogan of Purna Swaraj was given, and that became the battle cry for freedom. But nearly a decade earlier, it was the communists who first raised the slogan of complete independence. And at that Ahmedabad session, on behalf of the Communist Party of India, two comrades, one comrade Maulana Hasrat Mohani and another comrade Swami Kumarananda, a Maulana and a Swami on behalf of the Communist Party, moved the resolution, which, as I said, Gandhiji did not accept then. But since then, for every session, annual session of the Indian National Congress, the Communist Party of India was submitting manifestos on what should be the content of the agenda of the national movement and in the struggle for freedom. There's a dispute raised by certain sections of the communist movement in India that the actual foundation of the Communist Party of India is in 1925, when there was a conference that was held in Kanpur. Yes, there was a unity conference held in Kanpur in 1925, but then these resolutions and interventions for complete freedom that the Communist Party of India undertook between 20 and 25 would not have been possible but for the fact that the party was founded in 1920. And it was this party in 1920 and M.N. Roy, on behalf of the Communist Party of India, wrote those days to different revolutionary groups operating in different parts of the country. All of you are aware, all of us are aware, that the British divided India into 4 presidencies for administrative purposes. The Calcutta Presidency or the Bengal Presidency, Calcutta was their capital for a long time of the British Empire. The Madras Presidency, the Bombay Presidency and the Lahore Presidency. M.N. Roy writes to the leaders of the revolutionary movement in each one of these presidencies, saying that the time has come for all of us to unite in one unified party. And that letter he sends to Muzaffar Ahmad in Calcutta, one of the founders of the communist movement in India, on the land of India, to Singarveli Chettiar in Madras, in the Madras Presidency, to S.A. Dange in Bombay, and to the revolutionaries who were there in the Punjab, and in Kanpur, which was the industrial center. And as a result of these efforts, these different groups came together in the Unity Conference in Kanpur in 1925. So the party's foundation is 1920. It's the unity of different groups operating independently, separately, under the conditions of intense suppression by the British, that they all came together in this Unity Conference. But even before this Unity Conference was taking place, the British repression against the communists what they called the Bolshevik threat to the British Empire, to the British Crown, that intensified even further. There were 5 Peshawar conspiracy cases. There was a Lahore conspiracy case in 1915, before the success of the Russian Revolution. Then, before the Unity Conference in Kanpur, there was a Kanpur conspiracy case in 1923-24. And then, of course, came the most famous of the cases, conspiracy cases, and that was the Meerut conspiracy case, whose hearing continued till 1934. But since all these cases were on the basis of fabricated charges, even the British courts found it difficult to convict everybody who was arrested. So the Meerut prisoners were released in 1934, and it was only after that that a unified Communist Party with a center could be established and started functioning after 1934 with its headquarters in Bombay. So that is how the communist movement in India became an organized force, and it became an organized force facing brutal repression. So the century, if you look back, is a century, a golden chapter of people's struggles, of glorious struggles, of immense sacrifices, of innumerable martyrs, in shaping the direction of the freedom movement and subsequently in shaping the content of modern India, of independent India. That is why I do not propose today to discuss this century in terms of a time periodization, what happened in this decade or that decade. I would wish to discuss on the basis of certain important issues that were dealt by the Indian communists, which had an impact on the Indian freedom struggle and which continue to have an impact on shaping the content of independent India. And this has a bearing on the current situation that we are facing today. So that is why when we talk of the contribution of the communists in India for the Indian politics, for Indian society, for transformation of Indian society, this has been an immense contribution that continues to contribute even today. That is why anti-communists always target us. And in fact, the reactionary forces, the Indian ruling classes, always target us as the main enemy, so to speak, ideological enemy of theirs. Whatever may be our strength in the parliament, parliamentary strength, but they realize and assess correctly that if there is any potential that is there to impact and change the course of Indian history, and that is the communists, because of their commitment to a social change which is eventually linked to a society without exploitation, and that is socialism. And it is in this context that we will have to view the contribution that the communist movement made in our country. In the decade of the 1920s, when the Communist Party was formed in 1920, the Unity Conference in 1925, it was the same decade, in the same 1925, the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh was founded. And it was in the same decade, in 1928, that the All India Indian National Congress, which had set up a committee under Motilal Nehru as a chairman, comes out with its report on what it visualizes should be the content and character of independent India. And during this decade were born 3 visions on what should be the character and content of independent India. The Congress, which was then leading the freedom movement, the Congress put forward the vision that given India's diversity, its immense diversity, which is not confined to any one particular aspect. There are multiple languages, multiple religions, multiple customs, multiple traditions, and people with different ethnic origins. They've all combined together in this glorious land, and to keep them all united and keep the country united, it is essential that every single attribute of this diversity.
സീതാറാം യെച്ചൂരി സംസാരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് വിരുദ്ധരിൽ നിന്നും ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിൽ നിന്നും ഉൾപ്പെടെ നിരവധി പോരാട്ടങ്ങൾ ഏറ്റുവാങ്ങിയാണ് ഇന്ത്യയുടെ രാഷ്ട്രീയ സാമൂഹിക ചരിത്രത്തിൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ടി ഇടം പിടിച്ചത്. ഒരു നൂറ്റാണ്ടിൻ്റെ കരുത്തുമായി പാർട്ടി മുന്നോട്ട് പോവുകയാണ്. ദീർഘവീക്ഷണത്തോടെയുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളാണ് ഈ കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ നിർവഹിച്ചത്. സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യസമര പോരാട്ടം ഉൾപ്പെടെ ഇന്ത്യയുടെ നാനാത്വത്വം സംരക്ഷിക്കുന്നതുൾപ്പെടെയുള്ള പോരാട്ടങ്ങളിൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ടി വഹിച്ച പങ്ക് കൂടി സൂചിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് യെച്ചൂരി സംസാരിച്ചത്.